Hello, and welcome to another video. And today is election day. I've been waiting 6 months. I got into politics in June, and I've been into the midterms since then. So, I'm really happy. I encourage everyone to vote, regardless of your political party, because voter turnout is what shows what the people want. So, these are the safe states. These are always gonna. These are the final safe states. I'm not changing this map at all. So, like, if I get something wrong, I'm gonna try to make this the most accurate I can make it. Trying to put the least bias inside. So we have 37 safe states. Now, these safe states. And the likely states. So Texas is pretty much likely. If you look at this poll from Trafalgar Group makes a lot of polls. They're kind of lenient to Republicans, but they do have better sample sizes. And even with the margin of error, it's still a likely state, so I'm putting it in the likely column. Same thing with North Dakota. You don't really need to prove that. I've been doing that a lot before. It's gonna be around here somewhere. Like, it's really far away, but North Dakota, really, Kevin Kramer's +9. At some point it was +14. It's kind of closer now, but still, it's still gonna go into the likely Republican column. And I'm not putting Tennessee in the likely Republican column because I think that it should narrow, even though polls show it that way. I think Michigan could go into like a 6.7 point margin. West Virginia 8 point, Ohio like 10 points. And the same thing with New Jersey. New Jersey has a new poll that really shows how amazing, well, not amazing, but like that Menendez is doing good. Here, he's +15. So, New Jersey is probably likely. It's almost always been likely. And now let's go to the next. These are the leaning states. Well, Mississippi special election is also likely. I'm saying this is likely. The runoff election, everybody thinks the runoff election is likely, but for the election, when it actually is happening, I would give that as a safe state. Now we have the leaning states. So Tennessee, let me start off with Tennessee. Blackburn is at 2.5. Fox News has a poll +9. Emerson also does. But the East Tennessee State University has a tie. So Bredesen was doing amazing until it actually got close. I know Blackburn has had this lead from like October. Look. And it was always getting bigger and bigger until it became likely. Well, now it's getting closer because that's kind of unrealistic. But it's gonna be lenient. And now let's go to Montana. So Montana Trafalgar Group, yeah, of course, the sample Trafalgar Group is showing tester leaning, and Harris X is showing it. I've never heard of Harris X. I'm just gonna try and check what this is. Oh, well, I still don't trust it, but I do not trust Trafalgar Group as well. But I do trust Emerson, so it's still staying leaning. Actually, I think it could go into the tilt. Trump's always campaigning here, even though John Tester's always leading. So I think there's just something fishy about that. So I'm just gonna keep it like that. And then we have Florida. Florida, I've been really content about for the past few episodes. Look at it, that's a major victory. Just like it was at 1.7 before 1.4, then okay, 1.7, 3.3. So it only has one pole, Harris X, but I don't really like that pole. The St. Pete's pole and Emerson are pretty good. Quinnipiac isn't as good. NBC News is pretty good. This is pretty good. Trafalgar Group isn't good. And he's had a consistent lead. The closest it's been was 1.4 since, well, 1.1 since September 25th. Like, okay. This makes me think it's not going to be likely, it's going to be leaning. And now we have Indiana. Like, Ron is leaning at Harris X. Even though it has more, like, sample size. This is something that the NBC News and CBS, Fox News, this is the only recent poll. And the only reason Donnelly is a higher spread is because they took down a poll that showed Brown +4. I think all this will probably make this a tilt. GOP. But I could totally be wrong. And now we have Missouri. I think Missouri is. Oh, I've been putting Missouri as a lean as a tilt Republican so much. Because it always is tilt Republican. It has been since August. But this is just spreads. I'm looking at the polls. There are 3 ties. I'm not looking at the Fox News one anymore, or the NBC one, or the Missouri Scout. Maybe Trafalgar Group, but it isn't good. Harris X and Emerson. But I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's going to be a tilt state. It always has been. Well, since August 3rd. But now let's go to Nevada. I think Nevada's pretty obvious. Well, actually, it isn't anymore. Heller had a big lead. It did get really close. Then it was like 1, and Heller was a +0. +0 is pretty much not a win. But this is the spread. Emerson shows Rosen at +4, Harris X Heller +1, but Harris X isn't a reliable source again. Same thing with Trafalgar Group. But Dean Heller has the power of the incumbency. He had a consistent lead, technical lead, since October 15th. So I'm going to put it as the tilt Republican states. And final one, Arizona. I still have to do the governor and the house, so I need to make this one faster. McSally has this ABC and like Harris X Trafalgar group against Emerson and Trafalgar group. Well, the Emerson is pretty good, but the ABC Ohio predictive insights always showing McSally with a consistent lead, and it is ABC. This is a toss-up, but it still has a Republican tendency, and I think it's gonna tilt GOP. So this is my final Senate map, 54 Republicans and 46 Democrats. And now I'll go to the gubernatorial elections. I don't agree with this map, pretty much. I'm not gonna be showing like the numbers and the polls because I need to get to the House. And Kansas, I think it's gonna be leaning, but South Dakota is gonna be tilt. Both of these are still tilts. Arizona's safe. I mean, likely. Nevada's tilt, and Alaska is leaning, just because it's Alaska. And California and Oregon's a leaning state. Oregon's pretty much a leaning state. It has been for a long time. I'm not gonna push it into the likely margin. In Florida, it's still leaning, but it could go into likely calm. A lot of polls have shown that. Georgia is a tilt. Ohio is leaning. Pretty much Minnesota, Illinois, and Michigan are leaning. Pennsylvania is safe, as well as New York. I know this is kind of boring, but I need to make this faster so I can get to the House, and I don't want to make this one of those longer videos. Vermont and New Hampshire, GOP, yeah. Maine is likely. Wisconsin and Iowa, tilt, GOP, and Rhode Island, Connecticut, leaning Democrat. So this is my final gubernatorial map, 26 Republicans and 24 Democrats. And now my final House prediction. I won't put the margins in, just because there isn't enough time, but Montana at large is still Montana. And it will be close, but Greg Dew on 4-day will win. Scott Tipton will win, but Kaufman's been consistently leading in polling. Harrell has been doing very good for a district on the border. She's probably gonna win. Will Hurd will win here. At some point he was in a likely margin. This is likely, and Pete Sessions is probably gonna lose. The New York Times poll showed him at losing a +4. Pete Olson is gonna probably win here. John Culver said this will stay in the GOP's column, but Salt Lake City will go to Mia Love. It actually will. It is leaning Democrat, not leaning Republican. But you don't need to look at the 272 in forecast. So these two parts of Nevada, this is likely already. Tom O'Halloran will win here as well as Anna Kirkpatrick. Alaska at large, Don Young will win here, even though it's closer. Steve Knight will pull out a victory. But Donna Rohrabacher, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, is losing here. Mimi Waters, Edward Royce, but Duncan Hunter probably will win here. But Daryl Issa winning in a likely margin. Jeff Denham will win here. This should be leaning. And we just have 3 more. Washington's 4th and 5th and 8th. This is the final House map that I'm predicting. So it is narrow, but not narrow. So we have 211 Republicans and 222 Democrats. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. And that will be after the election. I'll probably be analyzing what happened. And again, thanks.